Hello, my fellow boxing brothers. I've been gone for a while. Yeah, that's because we simply didn't have that many really high-profile fights that I could talk about. So this finally this weekend, this Saturday, there are a couple at least. Well, first on in Philadelphia we have a welterweight. I believe, yeah. No, it's actually super welterweight fight between Jaron and Ennis, who is moving up, of course. Yeah, he was a big welterweight, so this is not a surprise. So this is a final eliminator for WBA super welterweight title or championship, and he's facing a guy called Uisma Lima. Interesting name. So yeah, this guy Uisma Lima. Let's take a look at him first. Oh man, what's going on? I don't get this shit. Sorry. Pulling up. He's 14-1-0, and he seems to be from. It doesn't matter really. Angola, I think. Maybe, yeah. So he's got 10 knockouts and one loss, of course. And yeah, he's obviously the underdog. He's a total underdog, and this is I guess, supposed to be a safe introduction for Ennis. Yeah, into into this division. And yeah, I have no doubt that Ennis will win this fight. Nobody doubts that at all. So there isn't really much to talk about, I mean, probably he will win by a stoppage. And yeah, if he doesn't, then it will probably be because Lima is a tough guy, or maybe Ennis's power doesn't translate that well into 154, whatever. And but he wins anyway, definitely. I don't see Lima winning anyhow. I mean, the chance is really slim. And then also we have a heavyweight fight on the undercard between Guido Vianello and this guy who is Alexis Barriere. Alright, I never heard of Alexis Barriere, but he's unbeaten so far, 12 and 0, 10 KOs. Yeah, Guido Vianello is coming off a loss. He's who was it last that he lost to? I forget, sorry. Just a second. Anyway, yeah. I mean, you know what? I gotta open another site. This is not going well. Anyway, Vianello is a taller guy here, and he's the favorite, likely favorite. 13-3-1, but he was stepped up pretty early, in competition, in the level of competition. He's 30 years old, and Barriere is 29, and Barriere is a southpaw. That might create some problems, I guess, for yeah, Vianello, but in the end, it's Vianello, I think, is well, we'll see, right? But he is the favorite here, and his problem is, that he's always gonna be the guy, the outsider, more or less fighting. He comes from Italy and he's fighting in America, and yeah, he lost to Richard Torres Jr. It was a pretty close fight from what I heard, and but the decision was very wide. So there you go. Once again, he was fighting a pretty hyped American prospect there, and yeah, he also got lost 1 point in there for holding, but he was coming off a pretty good win over Arslanbek Makhmudov, who is also fighting. I'm going to talk about that fight next. But anyway, let's see who Alexis Barriere fought, really. He's from Quebec City. Yeah, that's what I thought, and the last name sounds French, Barriere. So yeah, no names really that I recognize on his record, so probably not gonna be. Doesn't look that bright, for him. This is his first, major fight, and listen, I mean, Yanella has never really been knocked out. He only was stopped once because he got a badly cut eye, and that was against a total underdog, by the way, Jonathan Rice in 23. But he gave Efe Ajagba a really good fight, very close fight, could have gone either way, and he stopped Makhmudov, as I said, and yeah, he's just this guy can fight. Maybe not a major puncher. I mean, he does have power, but he is a guy who usually has to land many punches before he stops you. Just like, or not unlike Filip Hrgović, they kind of are similar also in size and height. I mean, and Hrgović might be, a little more burly and heavy, but still, yeah, definitely. But when it comes to power, they are, similar. I mean, they are not really huge punchers or anything, but I mean, if they land enough and if they put their punches in combinations well and all that, they can stop you. So this fight is scheduled for 10 rounds, or scheduled, however you say. I don't even know anymore. Yeah, so anyway, I think Vianello should win this fight, but maybe on points rather than by stoppage, because he's fighting a southpaw and they know how to make it difficult for the orthodox fighters. Yep. Alright, that was that one. And then the final fight I'm going to be talking about is the return of Arslanbek Makhmudov, alias Lion. Yeah, and he is fighting against a guy who has been written off, David Allen, in Sheffield Arena. And yeah, I mean, after Makhmudov has been exposed by Kabayel, we all know that. But since then, I mean, that loss hasn't not looked that embarrassing. Now that we have seen Kabayel take apart Gilles Zhang and also beat Frank Sanchez, even though Sanchez got injured, but still. And now he's fighting David Allen. I think this is a winnable fight for him, because David Allen is not a... Listen, David Allen, he really knows how to fight well against guys like Johnny Fisher, who are really kind of, stiff and one-dimensional. Johnny Fisher obviously was always a stiff one-dimensional fighter who really doesn't move so well, he isn't very quick, and can't be hit. It's not that hard to hit him, simply. And Makhmudov, I mean, yeah, he was also stopped by Vianello, as I said, and but he has a few decent victories, I guess, nothing major, but Since then, he stopped Milan Rochanin in 2 rounds and Ricardo Brown in 1 round. So Ricardo was unbeaten and Rochanin was 27-3. Yeah, kind of solid. Solid fighters, not spectacular, of course, but when he gets to, bully his opponents, he wins, Definitely, he's a huge guy, almost 6'6", and has a pretty big advantage over David Allen, who is more like, a standard size, more like old type heavyweight in size, 6'3". But David Allen, he's a pretty, big guy, kind of chunky guy, and see now against Johnny Fisher, he weighed really like 275 or something. No, sorry, 265, 260, yeah, something. Let's see, sorry. Doesn't matter. He's a big guy in girth and body size, definitely. So will not be that easy for Makhmudov to bully him, but I think the problem with Johnny Fisher is that in the first fight he was doing well in the first 4 rounds, but then he got ahead of himself, and Dave Allen, who has more experience, he started catching him, and I can see this fight being somewhat similar to the first fight, and David Allen, the White Rhino, being a very popular fighter still in England and UK. If this goes a distance, then it is not unimaginable that Allen gets the nod, but this will show definitely where Makhmudov is in terms of his shape and everything, his future, how far he can go. I mean, as I said, it's no shame that he lost to Caballero, but he was stopped by Vianello, who is also, as I said, very solid heavyweight, but maybe not such a big puncher. So that means he got hit a lot there, and that's the problem. He doesn't have a good defense, Makhmudov, sorry. And Dave Allen can take advantage of that, definitely. So it's not unthinkable that he will be able to do something similar to him that he did to Johnny Fisher in the first fight. I don't really see him knocking out Makhmudov like he did to Johnny Fisher in the second fight. As I said, Fisher was always a very, very limited fighter. And Makhmudov, though even bigger than Fisher, still has, I would say, better altogether, abilities, boxing abilities and all that, natural fighting abilities. So, I mean, he did look promising as long as he was fighting, mediocre fighters anyway, Makhmudov. But he got stepped up, I guess, against the wrong guy, But the world didn't know back then just how dangerous Caballero is. So, anyway, yeah. I don't know. This is pretty hard to predict, so I'm not gonna predict it. But if anybody should win by stoppage, I think that would be Makhmudov, yeah. But on points, if it goes, which it may very well do, then it can go either way or even be a draw. So, yeah. Anyway, Makhmudov will have to, just put the pressure on from the start and, yeah. Just not gas, definitely, and keep it up, keep bullying Dave Allen. And Dave Allen, if he wants to win, he just has to stay, defensive in the first half anyway, and try to counter, and catch Makhmudov coming in, of course, and box him, and yeah. So that's pretty much it I had to say about this weekend's boxing. Alright, see you soon. Enjoy your fights. Bye.